Hey everybody, Kale here. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome for the first time. Thanks for joining us. This is the tarot deck that I use, Tarot of the Witch's Garden by Sasha Graham and Natasha Ilichich. It's a fantastic deck. I highly recommend. All right, I haven't said that for a minute. Okay, so we have a really interesting reading today, and it's one of those where I needed to take the step back to look at the whole spread to see what was really going on. And, you know, most often, even just like as I go dive through the individual cards, it like starts making itself known, which again, it did, but it really required the third card, or really it was the second, but it was after the clarifier card to really like lock in what was going on. So I'm excited. I'm going to share from a slightly different angle today and start kind of more bigger picture and then dive into the minute. Okay, so we start our deck with a six of pentacles. Okay, we get a Six of Pentacles. Sixes are harmony, all right, and pentacles are you know, physical manifestation. It's part of the minor arcana, so it's day-to-day life, all right? It's things coming into being. It's very physical. So to me, what this signifies is harmony in the physical world, harmony in that day-to-day experience of life, all right? Harmony in terms of things coming into being and, you know, harmoniously, all right? And so this was the first card we pull, okay? And I will name a few things here, which are, this is reciprocity and balanced exchange. All right, balanced exchange, moving into a time of greater equality in giving and receiving. All right, and here we'll pause here, which is the shadow expression, right? That's pride in giving, shame in receiving, transactional love, and unequal exchange. And the thing that ends up jumping out, given the whole spread, is this shame in receiving. All right, it's the shame in receiving, and we're going to see how I got there with that, okay? So I pulled a clarifier card after this one, and we pull Judgment reversed, okay? So judgment in general is awakening to a higher calling, all right? It's resurrection through consuming truth, okay? And so the fact that it's in reverse, all right, is a sign of self-doubt, avoidance of calling, refusal to let the past be redeemed, all right? Fear of stepping into a higher level of responsibility, and the call is sounding, but you're hesitating to answer, all right? This is reckoning, this is second chances, this is deep truth surfacing, all right? Maybe you're already seeing the pattern here. So for me, when I saw this shame in receiving, okay, shame in receiving, and then we get a refusal to let the past be redeemed, all right? And we've got second chances, we've got something sounding, but you're hesitating, a deep truth surfacing, okay, fear of stepping into that higher responsibility, but again, with that redemption, second chances, and here we've got shame in receiving, and lo and behold, our next card we get is the Fool, and this is the card of new beginnings. So to me, when I see all this, I'm thinking, okay, this is a refusal to accept your new beginning, to allow yourself your new beginning, to allow yourself to receive a new beginning, to be able to let go and move forward, you know, because of something from the past. Again, refusing to let the past be redeemed. All right, again, this is second chances, and something blocking or getting in the way, or a refusal or difficulty of being able to receive that, receiving that new beginning. Okay, and so immediately we're kind of freeballing it here, because I'm gonna, whatever, it's fine, you don't need to know. I have it all written, but I'm going off script a little bit because I really want to dive into this. This is the core message, and we're getting there right away, all right? And what comes up for me in this, again, because this card, all right, this card is the primordial like life force. This is before the world takes shape, actually, and I'm gonna read a little bit more because it sets the stage of what we're getting at, really. Okay, this is unconditional consciousness, pre-form identity, the soul before worldly definition, pure openness to being. Okay, in Hermetic Kabbalah, it's pure consciousness before incarnation. All right, and it matches with a light code that I have in my Liberation Light Code deck, which is, I am the breath before a new universe forms. I am the breath before a new universe forms. So this is everything and nothing contained in one card. Everything, the whole deck is contained within the Fool, okay? And so the connection I see with that, right, is who we started as, this purity and this innocence, this freedom. And even it says the fool is not weighted down by past incarnations. There is a liberation here, right? This is a completely brand new fresh start, a completely brand new beginning. Obviously brand new beginning, but you know what I mean, like in the fullest possible way. And again, and actually judgment, one of the meanings of judgment is being born again in your own skin. Being born again in your own skin. And there's a renewal here. And to me, what I see is like a return to this. And I think that there's stuff here that could be quote unquote like getting in the way. Okay. And what really stuck out, okay, is so this is the path. This card is the path in Hermetic Kabbalah from Keter, which is pure divine source, the crown, okay, to Chokmah, which is wisdom, dynamic wisdom. Okay, so the Fool is the first movement from pure potential into living motion. All right, and so what I see is that the Fool is like the path from that purity into wisdom. And the only way that we get that wisdom, right? Like we have that innate wisdom, but when we take form, when we incarnate here, right, we go from that space, right, this purity into like an experience of life, right? And we experience life and we remember, we have innate wisdom, but then also life teaches us and we gather that wisdom. But there is a path here, and it's almost like the inevitability of challenge, of strain, of struggle, of imperfection happening, right? And there seems to nearly I think all of us or most of us, you know, some sort of like, you know, kind of this fall from innocence type of thing, you know, and in truth, our souls, we are so innocent. In truth, we are pure beings, right? And we have this experience. Sorry, there's a bug. We have this experience, and it changes our perception, right? It changes our perception, and we start feeling like, you know, it's not true anymore because of XYZ happening. You know, whether that was something that happened to us, something that we did that we feel ashamed about, whatever the situation is, right? We just go through this process and we feel like we lose this. We really don't, but we feel like we do, right? And so you have no choice but to go through the journey, okay? And the reality is with all of that, right, is like you don't start at zero and never leave. Like, try as you might, like, you're getting kicked out of the nest, and you have to experience this journey of life, okay? And so you start at zero and you move forward, right? And you don't get to stay there, and you don't stop at 180 degrees, okay? Like, what I'm getting here is that whatever this past thing is that's holding you back, or that feels unforgivable, or that feels too painful, or whatever that is, that keeps you from fully receiving and accepting this new beginning, right? Or whatever fear might be there, right? Like, you're only at like, let's say, not literal time of halfway through the story, but for the purposes of the painting the picture here, you're halfway through, right? And you don't stop at 180 either. That's not the end of the journey, right? So there's a whole other half, okay? You're going 360 degrees. You cannot come full circle, right? That quote that's always out there, coming full circle, that phrase, you cannot come full circle until you come full circle, right? Like, there's no coming full circle at 180 degrees. It's not what happens, right? You have to keep going, right? And you have to like allow yourself like that new beginning, okay? You have to keep going, okay? And I think we often fear, right, in the beginning, like, it's like we feared like the unknown. We fear like we don't know what this journey is going to bring, and it's exciting, but sometimes it's scary too, right? And so it's like we fear what might happen up to that 180, like, what's this going to be for me, right? And we go through it, okay, and then we think that's the end, and it's like we forget that like that was never intended to be the end point. There's always going to be another 180 degrees. Like, the whole point and purpose, right, is that there's an experience of redemption, of restoration. Like, there's a healing. Like, that's included in this circle of life. Hello, circle. Again, circle of life, 360 degrees. It's full circle, right? And then when we make it that full circle, we start again, right? We start again. We have another new beginning. Okay, and again, the Fool is not weighted by past incarnations, and you can take that from other lifetimes, but we could also look at that for like the new lifetime being born in this moment. We're not being weighted down by past iterations of life. Okay, and I don't want to like make like trauma or something sound trivial, like not at all, right? Healing takes time, and that can be part of the full circle, right? Like that, like now maybe there's that receiving, like that next layer of healing, right? Or just continuing to move forward in this moment. It begets that, you know, like it continues that process. Okay, so this is not, don't hear what I'm not saying, right? This is not about like, oh, easy peasy, boom. That's no, right? We're diving deep here. We're digging in, okay? And it really is, for those that it resonates for, as like, yeah, like I am having a hard time accepting and receiving this. That's what I'm really getting at, right? And where there's like there's going to be the clicks and the ahas of like, okay, yeah, there's something here for me to release and to move forward with. Okay, and so another aspect here around what could be possibly stopping this or getting in the way is this fear of going it alone. Perhaps, you know, you want this fresh start, you want this new beginning, something's kind of weighing you down. And maybe again with the judgment in reverse, there was also that fear of that higher responsibility, and maybe there's a fear of going it alone. Maybe there's something that you've been anchoring yourself to in the past as a form of safety or as a form of security that really is not quite in alignment with where you're headed. And that's terrifying, because it's either all you've known, it's the thing that's provided the most stability for you through whatever period of life, and yet a part of you knows that this is changing, and that's terrifying to you, right? For another, this could also be, I had this like literally right before I was walking here, and right before this thing that's dropped in of like, sometimes judgment of another, you know, like a specific person, and maybe somebody who has a lot of meaning in our lives somehow, or they've played a role or a significant role or whatever's going on there. Sometimes a judgment of another person can keep us attached to them in ways that once we let go of that judgment, once we heal the judgment and really like confront that truth for ourselves of how we're judging someone, that's when the freedom comes. And so sometimes it's like the relationship is not always what you think the relationship is, or how it's going to be, or where it's going to go. But if you're noticing that there's something with somebody that's still there, whether it's just like the person or whether there's something about the person, right? Like take a look at that. Take a look at how judgment is playing a role, and really what you can sink into and like and heal there, and letting that, like, that can be the thing sometimes that frees us, and it falls away. And so again, it wasn't something else that was keeping us to that person. It was actually the judgment of them that was keeping us to them. Okay, so these are other messages, you know, that came through with these cards. Okay, and so what I love here, we'll get back to these a little bit, was the Ten of Cups. Okay, the Ten of Cups was the next card and the last card that came up, and this is the card of bliss. Okay, this is the in Hermetic Kabbalah, this would be the culmination of relational consciousness and the capacity to bond. It's perfect, the culmination of relational consciousness and the capacity to bond. And for me, given what the rest of this spread is, this was a big signal to me that this is about a bonding with yourself and a culmination of relational consciousness with yourself. I mean, imagine whatever that is for you, whatever feels like you're being held down from like the past, that's just hard to let yourself move forward, whatever that guilt, shame, judgment, whatever's going on there with that, you know, imagine that renewed relationship with yourself to fully receive it, right? It was always intended to be in this full circle. Okay, and the connection to your source, to your creator, to your higher power, you know, whoever and whatever that is for you, right? Like there's a deep connection here, and I believe there's really a deep calling to like really look into that experience of redemption, that experience of grace, of forgiveness, of one who knows, of one who knew and always knew and has always loved you. And to be able to receive that true love and forgiveness and that freedom that comes with that is everything. Again, the culmination of relational consciousness and the capacity to bond. Okay, this is emotional wholeness. This is harmony. Perfect. harmony, relational blessing, the vision of shared happiness that feels spiritually complete. There is something here. It is a spiritual thing, this redemption process, this second chance, this new beginning, okay, this freedom, this liberation, all right? This is belonging at the level of the heart, all right? This is core. This is the core stuff, right? This is the return to innocence. Knowing that, like, you've in one end you've never left, and in some ways we never leave, right, this spot, and at the same time we go everywhere else but this spot, right? Like, it is that duality, the nuance, the both and, right, yin yang. It's just it's everything in one, okay? And so that's what we're returning to, this feeling, this embodiment, this knowing of this, all right? That's the process right now, okay? And the soul lesson here with where am I? This card. The soul lesson with the Ten of Cups is emotional wholeness is not perfection, but deep relational alignment, okay? Deep relational alignment, alignment with self, alignment with others. You know, the shadow version of this is a denial of pain in the name of togetherness. We're not doing that. You know, we're not doing that anymore. We're sitting with how we feel. We're letting our feelings communicate to us what is real and true for us, right? And we're trusting that. We're recognizing we're like, hey, this isn't aligned. This isn't right. Like, this requires me to sacrifice my truth and my authenticity, and we're moving away from that. Okay, we're not denying that pain, right? And we're taking a look at that. Okay, this is lasting happiness, okay? In love, this is lasting happiness, family harmony, emotional blessing, shared vision of love fulfilled. This could be your own version of love. This could be between you and your creator, right? And for those in relationship, you know, this will land for you in a certain way, okay? And also with this card, you know, that familial bliss is also in alliance with chosen family, okay? Sometimes family is a very difficult subject for folks, right? And painful. And so that chosen family and where your true belonging is, okay? And it's that familial bliss, the card of hard work, love, and the magic flowing future, and the magic flowing future. I think I probably miswrote that, but that's okay. No, I think it actually says that. Magic flowing. Don't get caught in a kale. All right. So what else do we have here? Being at home in yourself and therefore home in the world. Okay. And again, we're not sacrificing our true selves in this. And Brene Brown has a beautiful quote on belonging, and I think it's really important. She says, true belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. All right? And that's what we're aligning with. And I invite you to consider where in the past or even present are you a part of something where you feel that you belong? If there's anything that you can recall in your life where it's like, you know, I actually really feel like I belong there, I connected there. And then if you're finding yourself in spaces where you don't feel that, no, like, what's going on there? Like, what's missing, or what's present that wasn't present, or, you know, if you could kind of like go deeper into like, okay, like, how am I showing up in this space, and what was there that wasn't here or that isn't here, and taking a look at that. And sometimes, you know, stuff can be a little bit more in our head, or a past can be getting in the way of where we do actually truly belong now. And other times we're actually repeating more of a, like, putting ourselves in a place of like, you know, no, this actually isn't right, and the reason I'm here is something else that's been informing me in a deeper wound or pain, and then start focusing on, you know, spaces or people that are, again, not an attempt to get the past, but like remind you of what feels like true belonging in your heart, you know. And that's a process. We're always changing, right? So I invite you to look at that, and to what feels like true belonging now, what feels like belonging in your own heart. You know, what are your joys, your passions, your loves? You know, what's you now? You know, and how do you invite more of that in, and explore and get curious around connecting with folks, right? Who might share some of that. You know, and sometimes that's hard, and sometimes we've got to have the courage to, or summon up the courage to do that new thing and put ourselves in a new place, or and that can be online, that can be in person, whatever that is, or just keep surrounding yourself with it and have an honest and open intention, to allow more of that into your life, right? Because we started this card with a difficulty received, so just what is that for you in this moment in time? Okay, I'm going to take a look here at the deck. All right. Also, again, with this card, this is big about equal exchange. We're looking at reciprocity. So if we're noticing that we're in relationship with people, places, and things where it's not reciprocal, however that lands for you, right? We're taking a look at that, and we're saying yes to reciprocity, and we're saying no to things that are not equal in that way. And this doesn't mean that, like, sometimes there's moments, right, where you're perhaps giving more than another, and like there's always context, it's all relative. But again, trust your intuition, and if you know that a thing is not right and that a relationship really isn't right in whatever form that is, we're going to do something about it, okay? And just notice that. And then let's see, anything else with judgment. Again, okay, we're honoring our clear knowing, okay, being willing to confront those difficult feelings, facing those deeper truths, paying attention to what we've been avoiding here, okay? Again, we're healing, we're receiving, we're freeing ourselves, okay? We're going deeper. And again, and again, it's knowing the truth, right? And allowing yourself to explore that despite the fears that are coming up, perhaps emotionally, knowing that truth, expressing that truth, allowing that truth to be there. And I almost will say, like, even confessing that truth, whether it be with a support group, a friend, a loved one, a therapist, a coach, a spiritual guide. You don't have to carry this alone. You don't have to do this alone. And being able to share deeply and honestly with another person who's willing to hold that with us, and support us in that, can be unbelievably healing. All right. And so again, knowing that truth and letting that truth set you free. Okay. Yes. In the judgment. So, that's it. Yeah. We're letting ourselves move and flow with life. There was something about the flowing. I wasn't completely off there. All right. This is honoring what you know. You don't have to remain in ignorance any longer. We can accept this, and we can face this, and we can move with change and allow that new beginning for yourself. Because again, this is what's waiting for you. All right. All right, friends. All my love, all the peace. Okay. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm going to do one last. If you want to stop, go ahead, stop it. But I've got the Blessed Be deck, okay? And this is a Celtic blessing. I thought this was actually perfect as we're talking about belonging. I pulled this the other day and was like, when is this going to pop up? I think today is the day. All right. And when I pulled this card, it was a blessing on your home, a blessing on a home. And I think that whether that's your physical home or whether that's home within yourself, I wanted to read this blessing for you. All right. So this is a blessing for a home with protective presence, a creative field within which you can thrive and be reborn. Oh my, I love that. And being reborn in your own skin, night after night, day after day. May the walls of your home hold strong against the influences of the world outside. Within the walls and beneath the sheltering roof of your home, may you find privacy and comfort, and freedom to be who you are when all about you falls away, and there are no more eyes to watch you. May you have comfort, good food, nourishing rest, healing quiet, true friends who come and go in ways that bring you both joy and companionship. May you offer hospitality freely and gladly, and may the blessings you offer be returned in the opening of homes to you in return. I would say in the opening of hearts. May the borders of your home be protected and guarded by angels, and within its spaces may there be a place for intimacy, connection, friendships, privacy, conversations, calm, the roar of laughter, the soft fall of tears, and the quiet peace of hope. May your life take shape within your home. May there be births, and when deaths come, let them be kind ones. Let the home you create become the very essence of what home can be, and may it in return offer you, your body, your soul, the most nourishing of spaces between the worlds. Blessed be. So, I will leave you with that, friends, and it is not lost on me that there could be past things that feel like not only are they getting in the way of you receiving love, but they feel like they're getting in the way of you giving it, right? And what is there to heal within your heart? So this blessing this blessing can really come to fruition. Okay? So I pray that we all may experience deep heart healing, soul level healing, for the free and equal exchange of giving and receiving love. Amen. Ashe and Ashe. Stay safe, stay well, and be blessed. See you in the next one.